Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the International Closers 88L01A. This is a 2D classroom function lever trim for their high-end series of exit devices. Okay. Very nice quality item. That was, of course, set that way because you're going to fix the handing with the spindle when you assemble it. Okay. Let's take a closer look at the balance of the contents. What we're going to have in the package is obviously the trim, and this trim is going to operate as a class function, meaning that when the cylinder is installed, and the NC in this part number means a cylinder, when that tailpiece hits that cam, it's either going to lock or it will permit the rotation of the hub that's down here, or it will not permit it to. Okay, so that's what this is, classroom function. An application of that, and sometimes the word classroom may not apply or make as much sense. But think of it this way, you've got a, that always comes to mind is a mechanic shop. Or comes in the morning, he unlocks that outside door where the clients can come in and he's with staff. He'll insert the key, turn it, unlock the device so that the lever will rotate, take the key out, enter. At the end of the day, leave, come out, rotate the other way, pull it out, and now that lever is locked. That's a classroom function. Obviously, this applies actually to a classroom application where you want the doors locked before and after hours. Nonetheless, that's the case. Now, this is going to work, this exit device is going to work with their Grade 1 Series 8000 devices, which will be, of course, their Grade 1 Series device. There is a link below this video to the product, to the manufacturer's page where you'll be able to review the catalog. But the balance of the package is going to be the spindle that you'll need to use the trim, and then the 4 mounting screws that will communicate to the back head case of the item. Okay, so what really happens when the, let's just demonstrate it. The trim is bolted through the head case, is what I'm trying to say, from underneath the head. Removing the spindle from the packaging. So we get that inserted. I got down there. Pull that out. Okay, so we got that spindle pulled out. And that will allow us to end the device. And now we're going to demonstrate the function of the classroom. Spindle goes in and that locks the mechanism inside of here to that outer. You can rotate it and insert that. It's obviously locked when that is going to hit that mechanism, and I'll tell you, it's great spring power on this device. That is rotating this piece here, which is communicating with the back exit device. Okay, so I'm going to remove that so the client doesn't have to pull that out, reverse it. I mean, it's just, you'll get it out. I happen to have a good magnet. You've got the spindle, you've got the 4 screws that are going to allow you to mount it to the head case. Then you've got, even though no cylinder is included, you've got a cylinder collar, got the cash nut ring, some people might know that as. It's a threaded ring that one install the cylinder. Okay, you're going to have these 2 cylinder washers, a flat one and then a wave washer. A wave washer is used to go underneath the head of the cylinder so that when you thread it, the whatever you're installing it into, a key switch, an exit device, a trim, you can a little bit of tension on the back side of the cylinder so that you can rotate it to get it in the proper orientation, but not so much that it bears down onto the surface of whatever you're installing. That can go in there like that. Cylinder through here, this entire collar will go in. You'll use or you won't, whatever you need. You might need a different cylinder collar. Then the cash nut ring or the ring will thread onto the back side of the device or of the cylinder. It's tricky getting it on there because you don't have a lot of room to get this on. Other manufacturers actually have a special tool for doing that. So that's the function of this exit device trim. Get into some of the documentation that you will see with this item in the package, and it's all linked to down below. You've got a link to the installation instructions, and looking through the installation instructions, because this is trim only, you're going to refer to the exit device installation instructions primarily. For definition of terms like backset, how it's installed, but frankly, it's so simple and straightforward that you don't get a lot of information regarding how to install this trim, nor do I think that it's even published. Okay, that really brings me to the template. The template is the item that's most important, and there is a link below this to that as well. Now again, that template is linked to down below, but it's included with the packaging. And as we look at this, what you will need to determine is, on exit device, you're going to always have a horizontal center line that needs to mate to the horizontal of the device, of the trim. You need to look at the horizontal center line of this template and match that to the trim, because there are times when it needs to be shifted. Most times when, measuring the back of anything does not mean it's line. Also, then you'll have the back set, the dimension from the edge of the door to the center line. And in this case, it's drawn by that vertical center line. Well, that dimension is determined by application, and really that's the type of strike that's being installed. So you need to determine both horizontal and locations of center line so that you can communicate. And in this case, trim telescopic actuating shaft hole, drill a 5/8 hole through the door, CE and BE trim, not required for dummy trim. So this is your horizontal center. This is your horizontal and vertical center line for the device. You just have to determine where this gets installed. But this is what they're referring to. They give you the dimensions for these holes, and you'll notice there's no hole for the cylinder. That's because the cylinder does not protrude into the device. It's really going to flush out to the back side of this trim. It will actually be a bit inside of the exterior escutcheon trim. Speaking of that, let's go over some dimensional properties. This is a piece of hardware. It weighs about 4.5 pounds and is the 32D finish. 2/8 overall width. Overall height, about 9 7/16. Overall projection, about 2 11/16. Projection or length of the lever from the center line looks like it comes to about 5 inch. So it's a big piece of hardware. Now back to the template, location for all 5 holes that you must drill. And it's normal that you refer to template device. So I can tell you only information at a certain point without knowing the exact device type that it's being installed on. All you can do in terms of determining that. Now, instructions we went over, very typical, very generic. There's also a link to a document called product catalog. That's very handy because it's going to give you an overview of all of the designs that are available. It will refer to the different finishes that are available as well. And in particular, tells you what cylinder that you need for the trim. The typo, you would use an 1¼ inch cylinder, not a 1/4 inch mortise cylinder. It's just a typo. It should be 1¼ inch. You can use longer, you can use short. It's going to have to play with the cylinder collars to make that all work. The functions are defined. Classroom, we discussed. Passage, interior door, exit, a path of egress, always needs to be unlocked. That lever is always active. That there is no regard. You can set a classroom function to operate that way. You just set it into a passage mode and you leave it. Throw the key away, I suppose. Night latch is when the only time that the latch is pulled back is when the key is in, allowing the entry. Every time you remove that key, okay, the trim is automatically relocked. A dummy, that's easy. You've got a pair of doors. One of them is going to be classroom, passage, or night latch. The other is just niche, and that would be a dummy trim only, is where you would use that. Pair of exterior doors swinging out. The left-hand reverse door is probably going to have a dummy trim on it too, but if you want it to be symmetrical, it would. Then, of course, again, there's that link to the template. Now, there is a below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the international products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Now, a lot of people know the name because they see it on door closers. So much so that they're really synonymous with door closers, and surface-mounted is really referring to. But they have a comprehensive offering of not only surface-mounted material, but overhead concealed, obviously panic devices. We're going to be able to help you with other types of hinges, as well as electrified hardware and aluminum hardware as well. If you are looking for high-quality imported hardware that is generally always stocked, comes with nice, clean, professional packaging, supply a company that is pretty good in terms of customer service and responsiveness. I would very much recommend that you review their line. Now, there's a lot of places in the world to buy imported door hardware. Just so happens that International's been doing it for decades, and they've built a rep of good quality product with a brand name that's very recognizable. So you might want to review them for those alone. If you have any questions on the International 88L01A-NC in a 32D stainless steel finish or any other International product, please reach out to us. And thank you.